What's up, YouTube? This your boy, Big Boy Facts. Johnny. Tonight I'm going to do my AEW Rampage review on how it's got some new. Hit that like button, it helps you to algorithm. Subscribe to my channel, follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and Twitch down below in the description. And let's get started. Now, AEW Rampage was a good show. The crowd at Pittsburgh was hot, and that's all I got to say. Alright, it says it's Friday night, and you know what that means. AEW All Elite Wrestling returns on TNT this evening with the premiere episode of their new weekly television series. In Mannington from the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This evening, AEW Rampage features a jam-packed lineup from top to bottom, as well as studded four-man commentary team, considering the Taz, Excalibur, Chris Jericho, and Mark Henry. On top of that, debut edition of the new weekly AEW on TNT program is Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage for the Impact Wrestling Impact Championship in the opening match, as well as Mural versus Fuego del Sol for the TNT Championship in a main event of Dr. DMD Britt Baker versus Red Velvet for the AEW Women's Championship. Feature below are complete AEW Rampage results from the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on Friday, August 13th, 2021. Alright, so it says the first ever AEW Rampage show kicks off on the TNT with the signature opening video intro that will start off each week's show, ending with a narrator saying, "This is Rampage." From there, we hear Excalibur kick off the show, and then he introduced his podcast partner Taz, Jericho, and Mark Henry, all of who run down the lineup for tonight's show. This gave me professional wrestling right here. Impact Championship match, Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage. This match was good. After that, we head right down to the ring for our opening match of the premiere broadcast of AEW Rampage, as Christian Cage's theme hits and out comes the ring announcer brings him down to the ring. We got our first of the three championship matches coming up now. He settles in the ring and his music fades down. The theme of Kenny Omega hits in the Impact and AEW champion makes his way down to the ring, accompanied by Don Callis as four-man commentary team talk about the stakes of this match here on the AEW Rampage show. The bell sounds and we're off and running with this big fight field showdown as the fans in Pittsburgh are going nuts with loud AEW chants while swinging a lot of the black and yellow terrible Baker towels. Omega and Christian slowly closing on each other and goes face to face before locking horns. We hear the fans break out in some dueling chants as the two back up, and AEW senior official Brian Hebner backs up as well. The two lock up and here we go. Omega backs Christian in the corner, and Cage turns him before backing up for a clean break. The pace and intensity pick up where we already got some of this awesome chant from AEW fans. Christian gets the better of Omega again and does his own hand gesture before flipping him off. A big pop from the AEW fans. Audience, Omega fires up and begins to take over on offense. He looks for one wicket injury early, but Christian avoids it and reverses into the European attempt, but Omega avoids it and slides out to the floor to talk with Don Callis. Cage sees this long enough and runs out after him, chasing Omega around the ring until the champ slides back in the ring and stomps on Christian when he follows in after him. Omega starts to take over control of the offense this one, and Christian still showing signs of life, but Omega ultimately cutting his attempt to come back short. Christian hits a nice drop kick that knocks Omega off the ring. Abram and the fans chant his name as he chops the champ and rolls him back in the ring. Another "This is awesome" chant. Chant breaks out, and then a Don Callis distraction allows Omega to knock Christian off the top rope, where he crashes out on the floor at ringside hard. From there, Excalibur talks us into a mid-match card picture-in-picture commercial break as the action continues. We will return from the break. We are informed by the commentators that it has been all Omega in the offensive driver's seat during the commercials. We settle back into the live action now that we are back, and we see Christian Cage being fired up for a big offense comeback as the fans inside the Peterson Event Center begins to come alive. Jericho has some fun bringing up the pink scarf that Don Callis is seen wearing a ringside as he panics with Christian coming closer and closer to finish Omega off with his near fall getting more and more near as each big move lands. Omega begins to fight back into competitor from. He looks for a V trigger, but Christian Cage avoids it. Omega turns Christian Cage inside out with a nice unique move, but Christian Cage hangs on doing the follow-up pin attempt. Second later, Christian has the Pittsburgh fans on their feet with another super close near fall of his own. The champ hits a nice snapdragon suplex on Christian and then hits another one. He starts to fire it up looking for the finish, which he signals to the fans. He hits the ropes looking for a V trigger, but Christian avoids it but sliding under the ropes into the ring apron. He chokes Omega up with the top rope and then climbs to the top for a big splash follow-up that nearly finished Omega off. The fans bid on the false finish there with a huge pop and a subsequence AEW chants. From there, we see Don Callis freaking out as he jumps on the ring apron and begins waving his pink scarf around to distract the ref. Kenny Omega hits a low blow and then out comes the Young Bucks with a steel chair. Kenny Omega hauls Christian out for the one-winged angel on the chair, but Christian reverses it into a kill switch and hits it on the chair, which he quickly throws out of the ring. He then covers Omega and scores the big victory to capture the Impact champion as the AEW fans in Pittsburgh blow the roof off with their reaction. Jurassic Express runs down to celebrate with Christian as the commentators run us through some matches, highlight of an amazing opener on the AEW Rampage debut show. The winner and your new Impact World Champion Christian Cage. This was a good match. Even though it was on, but it was a good match. So we get Christian Cage is ready for Kenny Omega at AEW All Out. When we return from the commercial break after the match, we see Mark Henry standing by with our new Impact World Champion. Christian Cage talks about capturing the Impact Championship, and he will be the attendance at next week's Impact on AXS TV show in the Impact Zone. Captain Charisma also talks about Kenny Omega being an excellent opponent and among the best he's ever shared in the ring with, but claims he will be ready for him when they meet again for the AEW Championship at AEW All Out. So we get the TNT Championship, Mural versus Fuego del Sol. Alright, this was good as well. I enjoyed this. So we get, I already said that, TNT Championship, Mural versus Fuego del Sol. Pretty good match. We had to a special vintage that sets the stage for our next match, which will feature Fuego del Sol looking to earn an AEW contract as well as potentially the TNT Championship. From there, we head back inside the Peterson's Event Center in Pittsburgh, where Fuego del Sol theme hits, and out comes the Masked Man as he heads down to the ring for our second of 3 title bouts scheduled for tonight's show. Del Sol gets a nice reaction coming out when his music dies down. The theme for Mural and the TNT Championship comes out, getting the pyro and fireworks treatment. He settles inside the ring, and then his music dies down. The bell sounds, and we're off and running with our next match of the evening here on the broadcast of the new weekly AEW Rampage series. Straight out of the gate, we see Del Sol sprint across the ring and hit a nice hurricanrana on the TNT champion that catches him off guard. He follows that up with a big hot spot near a finisher that almost steals the deal immediately. But unfortunately for Del Sol, however, Mural hung on and within seconds shifted the momentum in his favor. He turned him inside out with a big shot and then locks in his submission finisher, quickly drawing the top and earning the submission victory to retain his TNT Championship with the relative after the onslaught from Del Sol. As soon as he earns the win, Mural pops up and grabs the contract Fuego del Sol will have earned with the win and tear it up with a big smile on his face. The commentators then took us into another commercial break. The winner is still your TNT champion, Mural. Fuego del Sol is all elite after emotional moment with Sammy Guevara. When we return from the break, Fuego del Sol is still standing inside the ring, recovering from his tough loss, and the commentators talk about Mural ripping up his contract and his dreams. From there, the theme of the Spanish guy of the Inner Circle hits and out comes Sammy Guevara, along with AEW President Tony Khan. Sammy Guevara is handed something by Tony Khan, and then he headed down to the ring as Tony Khan heads to the back. Sammy Guevara says Fuego is like 1-51 in his last 52 matches, but it doesn't matter because the fans love him, and he says there's a lot of people in the back who loves him too. Sammy Guevara says it's fitting because he is best friends for him to tell him in front of the world that Fuego del Sol is officially all elite. That was a good moment right there. I love that moment right there. Fuego is crying and emotional as Sammy Guevara hands him his AEW contract, and the fans explode. So we get Sting and Darby Allin are ready for the battle. Alright. So we get following the emotional moment between best friends Sammy Guevara and Fuego del Sol, the commentators runs down the lineup for next week's AEW Dynamite on TNT show. From there, the commentators focus on Sting and Darby Allin, who are up in the raffles tonight inside the Peterson Event Center. A spotlight is shown on them as the fans react. The commentators plug Sting competing on TNT next Wednesday night in a match for the first time in years. A special video airs to show Sting and Darby Allin, and then the Rampage broadcast continues. Pre-match live interview with Dr. Britt Baker and Red Velvet. Now we shoot a 3-way split screen live pre-match interview ahead of our main event as Mark Henry interviews Dr. Britt Baker and DMD and her challenger for the AEW Women's Champion in our headline attraction, Red Velvet. Red Velvet tells the fans not to forget that Britt Baker attacked her with a crutch. Baker talks about having a broken wrist and still being the one who is going to walk out of her hometown tonight as the reigning AEW Women's Champion. Mark Henry says it's time for talking. It's over. It's time for our main event. Before we get to our featuring attraction here on the debut installment of AEW Rampage, we head to a pre-match commercial break. So we get AEW Women's Championship, Dr. Britt Baker versus Red Velvet. Dr. Britt Baker is over with the fans. You know what I'm saying? In Pittsburgh, the crowd in Pittsburgh was so hot. They were so hot. But this was a good match, though. Good match. When we return from the break, we get right down to business as the entrance music of Red Velvet plays as the challenger makes her way down to the ring. From there, a familiar sound of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, plays, and AEW Women's Champion head down to the square circle for tonight's main event in front of her hometown fans in Pittsburgh. The yellow terrible towel are being spun all around the arena, but where was I? It says right here. From there, the familiar sound Dr. Britt Baker plays and the AEW Women's Championship heads down to the square circle for tonight's main event in front of her hometown fans in Pittsburgh. The yellow terrible towel are being spun all around the arena by thousands of fans who are making a ton of noise ahead of feature bout of the evening. Where we hear the bell song and our main event is now official of and running. The AEW fans immediately start chanting DMD for the chant as the two lock up. Red Velvet take her down and taunt her, and the fans boo. Baker reverse and they cheer. Velvet reverse back and they start boo again. So the fans back out in a here we go Baker, here we go chant after commentators plug some upcoming AEW events. Tickets on sale dates. Meanwhile, Baker fires up and fights back into the competitive. However, Red Velvet cuts her comeback short and take over control as the fans loudly boo once again. So they was booing Red Velvet and they was booing Red Velvet and the crowd was cheering for Dr. Britt Baker. All right, let me continue. Baker starts fighting back again after avoiding near having her injured wrist stomped on by Velvet. Baker's offensive momentum is once again cut short as Red Velvet chokes Baker in the corner with her boot on her throat, while yanking on her injured wrist in the ring. Rose at the same time. Baker sells the hurt wrist badly, and Red Velvet continues to go to work on her. As Cowboy talks about her compromise wrist being the one she used to execute her lockjaw submission finisher, and how that could play a factor later on in this one. Velvet hits a big leg later for a near fall, but Baker hangs on. We then shoot a mid-match picture-on-picture commercial break as our headline bout of the evening continues. As we settle back in from the break for the conclusion of this AEW Women's Championship contest, we see Baker has fought her way into the lead and is now controlling the offense. Just as the match settles back in, however, Red Velvet hits a nice backwards takedown to shift the momentum in her favor. Jericho points out on commentary that Baker had been dominating the action throughout the break. Chris Statlander is shown watching on at ringside as Rebel continues to dominate the offense, taking it to Baker on the mat before bringing the action back, standing and going for a scissors kick. Baker avoids the scissors kick and takes Rebel down the hard way. She then apply her lockjaw finish, but has trouble due to the injured arm, which Chris Jericho points out. Red Velvet capitalizes on this and gets back on top of Baker, looking to take her protector wrist sleeve off. She does, and Reba jumps on the ring apron for a distraction. The ref throws her out of the match and ejects her from ringside. As Baker goes over to see what's going on, she turns into a big super kick from Velvet that decks her head to the top rope and hits a moonsault and goes for the follow-up cover, but Dr. Britt Baker kicks out. We see Red Velvet leaving the ring. We see Red Velvet leaving the ringside area as Baker talks back over the offense in the ring, hitting a crazy arm breaker for a suplex position. Baker hits a curve stomp, but Red Velvet survives. Now Velvet takes over and is looking to put Baker in her own lockjaw hold. Baker ends up pushing off the ropes with her feet, and now she is looking to lock Red Velvet in her lockjaw. Red Velvet avoids letting Baker fully secure it, and she starts slamming Baker's injured arm wrist on the mat over and over again. Baker switches to Velvet other side and applies the lockjaw with her non-injured arm and gets tapped out for the victory. As the fans explode and spins their titles, terrible titles. Baker pulls on the ropes with her title as her hometown fans in Pittsburgh go nuts. The commentators then runs us through some of the highlights of what was an exciting, excellent and main event. The winner is still your AEW Women's Champion, Dr. Britt Baker. This was an excellent main event right here. After the match, Jamie Hayter returns to help Dr. Britt Baker. Back live, we see Baker play to the crowd, gesturing up for a DMD chant, and then hit a post-match DDT. She then lays the belt down and locks the and then looks to curse stomp her onto it, only for Chris Statlander to hit the ring and take out Baker. Jamie Hayter, a familiar face to longtime AEW fans, then runs out with a new look and she beats down Chris Statlander. Baker recovers and hits her intended curse stomp on Red Velvet to close out the show. Her music plays as she and Jamie Hayter pose in front of her adoring Pittsburgh fans while the commentators talks us off the air. Thanks for joining. All I gotta say was AEW Rampage was a good show. That's all I gotta say from here. The crowd was hot in Pittsburgh. That's all I gotta say from here. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed my AEW Rampage review and highlights, please drop a like on this video. Helps YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to my channel. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and Twitch down below in the description. You guys have a great weekend. This your boy B-Boy Fast Johnny. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. And I'm out of here.